Alright, so it looks like the world's worst pseudo console is finally coming back to us and haunt us once again. It looks like the Virtualboy has just about come back online, and that's going to be hitting us in the face on February 17th. The Nintendo Switch 2 launched with a new console available for Nintendo Switch Online members, the Nintendo GameCube. It was a welcome addition to the ever-growing roster of classics on NSO, launching with The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, and Soul Calibur 2. And if these rumors are true, the library will include 2 more GameCube classics, Metroid Prime 2 and Echoes and Pikmin 2. And that's not the only console that's going to be coming out to the Nintendo Switch Online environment. As announced during a 2025 Nintendo Direct, the Virtualboy is coming to us again as well, and it looks like the slotted date for launch is going to be February 17th. And there are going to be 7 games coming out on the day of the drop. One is Tele Roboxer, Galactic Pinball, Red Alarm, Golf, Virtualboy Wario Land, 3D Tetris, and the Mansion of Innsmouth. And they're saying that the Virtualboy is a fun edition, and if anybody that is my age remembers the original Virtualboy, this is not what it looked like. It looked way worse than this, but it was still just as red and not even remotely virtual. It was a whole bunch of red lines, and it was painful, and it would crush your face. The other games that Nintendo is releasing for Virtualboy is Mario Clash, Mario Tennis, Jack Bros, Space Invaders, Virtual Collection, Virtual Bowling, Virtual Force, V-Tetris, Zero Racers, and D-Hopper. Zero Racers and D-Hopper are notable because they have never been released before, meaning these are brand new, fresh games combined with the Virtualboy's gimmicky nature. Its fun little add-on is sure to pique our curiosity. I want to know how they're going to incorporate actual bowling if this is supposed to be virtual, or if it's just like a game and you play it with a controller like the original. And if it plays anything like the original, I personally wouldn't even be remotely interested into it, because I had a friend that had the original Virtualboy, and it was literally painful to play on. Let's not mince words here. The Virtualboy is one of, if not the worst consoles of all times. I would agree with that for sure. The gimmick was something that sounded super neat, yet impractical in the 90s. And that's true, because when I was a kid, I actually kind of begged my parents to get me one. The problem at the time, though I didn't realize it because it was new, and was my parents didn't want me to have one because, consoles were expensive back then. And I'm glad, looking back, I'm glad I never owned one, especially when, I had a friend that did, and we played on it occasionally, and it, like I said, it always hurt to actually play. And the games weren't very good, and it was hard to actually see anything. A chance to play your games with a virtual reality helmet, letting you be in the game like never before. The problem, though, was that the technology was nowhere near ready to make this work. As a result, the Virtualboy was a disaster. No, what the Virtualboy advertised to everybody and what it actually delivered were vastly different. It'd be like advertising a virtual reality headset and getting a regular console and some 3D glasses is about the only comparison that I can give you as to what the Virtualboy actually was with modern technology. Of course, VR gaming is far more widely accepted today, but it's still arguably seen as a niche rather than a commonly accepted way to play games. Add in the fact that you'll be able to purchase a Virtualboy headset from Nintendo, and you can party like it's 1994 all over again. And it's going to be $100, and thankfully you can still play the games without it, though. And honestly, if it's going to be a lot like the same way it used to be, I would still prefer to play the games the traditional way. Virtualboy is a black sheep in Nintendo's console family, released in '95. It was awkward to use, and its stark red and black 3D visuals were infamous for causing headaches. I actually forgot about the headaches because I didn't actually get them. I didn't know anybody that did. Maybe we were just lucky. But it looks like this is going to be as part of the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, so it's not even going to be part of the regular Nintendo Switch Online, and it's going to cost you $100. And honestly, if this is what it looks like, I'm probably going to stay away from it because this looks like it's going to hurt my face. It hurts my face just looking at it, to be honest. What makes the Virtualboy shell stand out is how faithfully it reproduces the original design. Oh, so it's the original design? I don't want it at all. No, thank you. And it looks like you can't wear it, so it sits on the table, so you're stuck in a horrible posture while you play this thing, especially if you're tall like myself. If you're on the shorter side, it probably wouldn't hurt your back too much, but this will clearly hurt my back. And if the Virtual Boy is not your thing, Nintendo is also releasing an alternative, and it's called Labo VR. Owner of Nintendo's 2019 Labo VR kit will be able to use the cardboard peripheral to play Virtual Boy games when they arrive on Nintendo Switch Online next month. So your choices are an uncomfortable Virtual Boy or the cardboard box that your Nintendo Switch came in. Honestly, the Nintendo Switch cardboard box would probably be more comfortable for what it's worth. According to a Nintendo Treehouse staff member who confirmed the functionality with GamesBeat, according to the person, the functionality wasn't previously disclosed in marketing materials because Nintendo no longer sells the Labo VR kit. Virtual Boy games are set to launch on the 17th, for Nintendo Switch Online Plus. Previously, it was stated that users would need to purchase either the $100 Virtual Boy accessory or a $25 cardboard model in order to play the games. So they're going to charge you $100 for an uncomfortable piece of plastic or charge you $25 for a cardboard box. Honestly, I'll just go get the shoebox and make one myself, honestly. However, it seems Labo VR will now provide a third option and presumably indicates that the Virtual Boy accessory could work with compatible 3D Nintendo Switch games like Captain Toad, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Super Mario Odyssey. The Nintendo Labo VR kit was released in April 2019 and was the fourth entry in Nintendo's family-friendly build and play series. In addition to other cardboard sets, it includes the Toy-Con VR goggles, which sit in front of the Nintendo Switch hardware itself. Ahead of Virtual Boy's Nintendo Switch launch, VGC recently had the opportunity to try out the NSO version at Nintendo's European HQ in Frankfurt, Germany. Although I wasn't able to get too in-depth with the offering, as an owner of the original Virtual Boy, I came away impressed with its authenticity in both aesthetic and gameplay experiences, and the improvements made. I'm assuming by improvements made, he means it's no longer uncomfortable to actually play on the VR, but it still looks like the posture that you'll have to adopt in order to play this thing will be super uncomfortable. And this cardboard box thing they got going on for the VR version for the Nintendo Switch just looks janky. Like it literally is just like a cardboard box with holes cut in. And yet I would still rather go home and cut up a shoebox for myself, to be honest. Thanks for watching. Drop a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.